Hello, everyone. In this video, we are going to solve some application problems. All of these applications involve polynomials. So we have 4 learning objectives. First, we are going to look at problems involving perimeter, area, and volume. Then we look at surface area problems. And then another one is about falling objects to calculate the height at given moment for a falling object. And then the last one is about net profit. So let's look at this one by one. First, perimeter, area, and the volume. Let's look at our first example. Example 1. Write an expression in simplest form for the perimeter of the triangle given in this figure, and find the perimeter if x is 7 feet. First of all, if we look at this figure, we notice that these two sides have equal length, and this third side has different length. So sometimes people ask, why do we need expression or polynomial to represent length of a figure like triangle? The reason is that if you use a specific number, you can only represent that particular triangle. For example, this 5, this 10, this 10. You can only represent that particular figure. And you can only get the perimeter for that particular figure. And if your length change, and you have to redo the whole thing again. Using an expression has huge advantage. It represents a family or category of triangles. In this case, this just tells us whatever this base length is, these two sides, identical sides, because this is a senseless triangle. And these two sides length will be 5 more than double of the base length, whatever the base length is. As a result, this representation using expressions represent a whole family of similar triangles. Could be many different lengths, but they're similar triangles. Okay, now let's solve this problem. Perimeter really means the total length around a shape, regardless the particular shape, triangle, trapezoid, parallelogram, doesn't matter, even pentagon, any shape. The total length of the shape is called a perimeter. All we need to do is add the 3 sides together for this particular problem. So let's do that. And 2x plus 5, since we have 2 identical ones, we just can multiply this whole thing by 2. Then plus x, so we add these 3 sides together. And 2 times 2x, that's 4x. 2 times 5, that's 10. And plus another x. And combine like terms as a remainder. And like terms are those terms that have exactly the same variable part. This is x term, this is x term. This one has 4x, this one has 1x. So totally we get 5x plus 10. Yeah. That's the perimeter of this triangle. Depending on particular x value, you have different perimeters, the family of triangles. So for this particular one, x equal to 7, we just replace this x with 7. So if x equals 7 feet, and the perimeter, let's use p to represent the perimeter, equals 5 times 7 plus 10. 5 times 7, 35, plus 10. So it's 45 feet. That's the perimeter for that particular triangle. Now you get some of your exercise problems. Actually, you have 3 in this exercise 1. This is the first one on this page. Find the perimeter of this shape, and then also find the perimeter if D is equal to 9 meters. And there's two more on the next page. And this is the second one. This is also exercise question. Find the area of this shape. Find the area of this shape. And I give you a hint. Area formula is base times height for this one, because this is a parallelogram. Base times height. This is base, this is the height. You need to multiply them together. And the third one, and this is the exercise problem, the third one. Write an expression in simplest form for the volume of this box. And then find the volume of one h is 2 centimeters. So also the hint is the formula of volume for a box is length times width times height. Length, width, height. Okay, now let's move on to our next topic. We want to find the surface area. Surface areas of different shapes. In this video, we only look at surface area of a box. Here is a description. So let's understand how we calculate a surface, the surface area of a box. We know for a box, opposite sides have equal area, right? So it has 6 sides in total. Top and bottom have the same area. Left side, right side have same area. Front and back have the same area. And this is they unfold this whole box to show people how we calculate area of each side. So you notice that front side and back side have the same area, right? So you don't need to remember all of this formula or any of this formula, as long as you know the area of rectangle equals length times width. That's good enough. For example, for the front side area, length width, right? So this one times this, they call this side h. So we just use h, L times h, front one. Also, back one will be the same. How about the top one? Top one is length is width. One side is called length, the other side perpendicular to it is called width. So this is the L, same. This side is same as W, so L times W for the top one. Also bottom one, because they are the same. So it's pretty easy to do actually. Now let's look at our example on the next page. And a company produces metal boxes that are 2 feet long by 3 feet wide and by 1 foot high. How many square feet of metal are needed to produce one box? Basically, to produce one box, a total area of 6 sides, right? So when you buy metal sheets, you have to have enough area to cover all of 6 sides, right? So basically, this asks us to find the surface area of the box. So let me quickly sketch a box that we can talk about it. This is not draw to scale, okay? Just quick illustration. So this is the length. We call length 2. This is width 3. Height is 1. Oh. So we have this box. Okay, now we have 6 areas. Let's cut it up. So top and bottom. So we just need to find out one area, one side, and double it, right? So 2 times length times width, length times width, length times width. That's the area of the top or bottom, right? Length times width let's write down the formula first. Length, width, that's top, bottom. Let's say this, let's call this left side, this is the right side. Left and right. We just need to calculate one and double it, right? So left and right involve these two sides, W and H, right? W and H. Later on, we plug in numbers. And front and back. This is the front, this is the back, okay? Front, back. So front and back is L times H. L times H. Now the total surface area equals all of these three added together. Okay. 2LW plus 2WH plus 2LH. So let's do the calculation. 2 times length, which is 2, times W, that is 3, plus 2 times WH, W is 3, H is 1, plus 2 LH, L is 2, H is 1. So this is a 12, and the second part is 6, the third part is 4. So 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 12 is 22. And the unit is feet, square feet, surface area. So 22 square feet. When they buy the metal, they buy a minimum of 22 square feet, because when you actually make box, you're going to have some waste. This is just a mathematical problem, but in practice, you're going to buy a little bit more than that. Okay, that's your exercise number 2, very similar to the one we just finished. All of the answers again is in the comment area below the video. So now let's look at another topic, another learning objective. We are going to solve some problems involving a falling object. And this formula is from physics. You don't need to worry about anything about physics. Let me explain this formula for basic understanding. This formula describes the height of a falling object. The height is how far away from the ground. This H0 represents initial height from the ground. And this portion will give you a component that height will change with the time. So apparently this negative term, that means as time goes on, it's getting closer to the ground. And it depends on apparently. So that's why we need a variable to represent this whole thing, because if you plug in different time, you're going to have different height. So we need a variable to represent this whole thing. That's why we call this H. So H represents this whole thing. Now let's look at an example, how to use this formula. A skydiver jumps from a plane at an altitude of 10,000 feet and deploys her parachute after 20 seconds of free fall. And what was her altitude upon deploying the parachute? Now, let me see if I have enough room on the next page. Yeah, let's do it on the next page. Yeah. Let's see, move up a little bit. Yeah, basically it goes like this. Let's understand the scenario. This is the airplane. And this person jumped out at altitude of 10,000 feet. Suppose this is the ground, okay? This is the 1,000 feet original altitude. And this person is here, jump out. After 20 seconds, this is 20 seconds, free fall, and this person opened, like supposed to be at this point, we are looking for the height, the altitude upon deploying the parachute. We are looking for this part, the altitude from the ground, right? So how do we do that? Basically, we just apply this formula. Let me rewrite this formula right here. -16 t squared plus h0. 0 represent initial altitude when the skydiver jump out of the plane. And t is the second number of seconds, the time in second after jump out of the plane, after the initial height. So we just replace t with 20 seconds, basically. So let's see what we get. Original altitude is 10,000 feet. So this equals -16 times 400. 20 times 20 is 400 plus 10,000. So this is 6,400, -6,400 plus 10,000. This is 6,400. You get positive anyway, 3,600 feet. So after 20 seconds, and the skydiver opened parachute at the altitude of 3,600. So the jump really fast, free fall. Now you get a very similar problem. And our last learning objective is to look at a net profit problem. We all know that the net profit equals revenue subtract your total cost. If your cost is higher than the revenue, you lose money. If your cost is lower than the revenue, you have profit, you make money. So now let's look at our example 4. And in economics, and a lot of expressions represent this revenue cost structure. And the expression 7b plus 90 plus 1265 describes the revenue for a toy manufacturer, where B represents the number of toy bears sold, and D represents the number of toy dogs sold. So bears, dogs. And the expression, second expression, 8b plus 3d plus 742 describes the cost of producing toy bears and toy dogs. This B, number of bears, D, number of dogs. Now we get our first question. Write an expression in simplest form for the net. Net means net profit, which is revenue subtract the cost, right? So net equals revenue subtract the cost. And revenue is given by this expression. So we just copy that. 7b plus 9d plus 1265. And the first one, I use parentheses, just indicate this whole thing represents revenue. Otherwise, you don't need this parentheses. Subtract, but for the second one, you do need parentheses. It's necessary. 8b plus 3d plus 742. Without parentheses, you only subtract the first term, which is part of cost, not the total cost. You're supposed to subtract total cost, makes sense, right? Okay, now this is how you simplify an expression. The first one we just copy without parentheses, 7b plus 9d plus 1265. Then you're going to subtract each one inside. In other words, you distribute the negative sign to each term inside, so they all become negative. Negative 8b, negative 3d, negative 742. Now all we need to do is combining like terms. 7b minus 8b, that's negative 1b, just negative b. We don't need to write that one. 90 minus 3D, that's a 60, positive 60. Now positive 1265 minus 742. So let's use a calculator. 1265 minus 742. 523. 523. So this is the expression represent either profit or loss, depend on the number of bears, toy boy bears sold, number of dog toy sold. So now that's why we have a second question. We have specific numbers to determine if we have a profit or loss. In 1 month, the company sold 2,345 bears and 3,687 dogs. Using the expression for net profit from part A, that's here, find the net profit or loss. So all need, since this expression represents our net, okay, net equals negative B plus 6D plus 523. All we need to determine this number is between B and D. And let's say negative B, that's bears, 2345 plus 6 times D. D is 3687 plus 523. So we need to do multiplication first, apparently. So let's do that. 6 times 3687 equals 22,122. So negative 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 22,122 plus 523. Now, basically, we use add this together minus this number. You can also use negative sign plus this. And if you use this one as the first number, make sure you don't use minus button, okay? Minus and negative sign are different things. Even though sometimes people read this with -5, people understand that, but that actually is wrong. Minus is operation between two numbers. Can you -5 without another number in the front? You can't. So that's why this is the -5. It's not minus. But if you put a number in front of this, it becomes minus. So either way is okay. So I'm going to use 22,122. I already have that. Then add 523. Then minus 2345 equals 20,300. This is a positive number. That means this is a profit. They made profit. And just to show you, demonstrate it, I'm going to put this number in the front, redo this calculation, take this one as negative number to see if we get the same result. See, on my calculator, you can see this is a plus, minus, multiply, divide. And where is negative? This is negative. So I'm going to this button first. Negative. What is that? 2345 plus 22,122. 22,122. Oh, nothing. Oh, yeah, it's a delayed. Plus 523. Right? Equals. Do we get the same number? 20,300? Yeah, exactly. Now, this is your last exercise question. There are two parts of it. It's kind of similar, very similar, just different story. Okay, this is the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one.